So hi guys, welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be learning how to make this dress you are seeing on your screen. And for us to make the dress, we need to draft the upper bodies, which is the bustier part first. So to do that, I have my vertical measurements here, my chest line, my breast point, my under bust, and my half length. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark my shoulder measurements divided by 2. My shoulder measurement divided by 2. My shoulder is 15.5 divided by 2. I'm going to have 7.75. So I'll go ahead and connect it together like this. After doing that, I'll go ahead and create my neckline. I'll be using 4 for my neck width and 3.5 for my neck depth. I will set that aside and work on my shoulder slope. I'll come down by 1 inch at the shoulder line here, then connect it to my neck width. So after doing that, I need to create my armhole curve. That is also called the arm side. So I'll measure whatever I have here. I'll divide it by 2, which is 4. Then another half point, I'm going to come in by half an inch. I'll come in by half an inch. Then I'll connect it together. I'll come in by half an inch. I'll connect together to form our arm side. Okay, which is also called the armhole. So after creating the armhole, I'll go ahead and create our bustier now. So I will divide my bust circumference by 2, which is also the nipple to nipple point. I'll be dividing it by 2. So for this particular person, division by 2 is 3.75. So I'll go ahead and mark 3.75 from my chest line all the way to my half length. Then I'll connect it together. After connecting it together, I'll mark 0.75 rather, 0.75 towards the center front. Then I'll mark 1.5 towards the side seam. So I will do that on the half length and the under bust area. Okay. So after doing that, I'll go ahead and connect the lines together like this using a straight ruler. So after connecting it together with a straight ruler, I'll go ahead and connect it to my breast point using my curved ruler, or you can also use your armhole curve to do that. So I'll place it like this, then I connect. Make sure you place it well before connecting so that you will not make mistake. Okay. So I'll go ahead and connect. Then I'll do the same for the other side too. I'll connect it like so. So after doing that, we need to determine our yoke length, the length I want to use for my yoke. For this person, she doesn't want to reveal cleavage, so I'll be using 7 inches for my yoke. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark that 7 inches point. So when I get to this armhole place, this shoulder slope part, I'll be marking 8 inches because I want it to come down a bit at that point. And you know that we are going to remove 1 inch from here. So by the time I mark 8 inches, everything will be equal to 7 inches. So I'll go ahead and connect it together like this. Okay. So after connecting it together, I will extend my line here, which is the first span line. I will extend it upward so that I can do the chest tightening. So I'll, at the center here, at the center front here, I'll go in by 0.75 also, 0.75, and at this part I'll come in by 1.25, 0.75, 1.25. Then I'll connect it to my bust point. When you are connecting, make sure that your connection is smooth so that you don't have any sharp points. So after connecting it to my bust point, I want to create my neckline now. So I'll join the 2 points together. You can use any type of neckline you want for this particular tutorial. So what I took here, I'll measure it, then I'll return it back to this place because we need to return it. So I have 2 inches here at that point. So I'll mark my 2 inches. At this chest line, I have 0.75. I'll mark 0.75 at that point. Then I'll connect it together. So I'll extend the yoke line here, then I'll connect it together like so. So this is going to be a bit funny, but never mind. So after doing that, I'll go ahead and input my horizontal measurement, bust, waist, and hip. My bust measurement is 39, which is 9.5, 9.5, but I'm going to approximate it to 10 because of our connection here. So that is why I want to approximate it to 10. And even for this part, you might, the way we have 2 inches here, you can add 1.5 inch to this place. It's going to make it, it's still going to be enough, because these 2 inches I added, I'm still going to cut it out again by the time I join it, and I will need to cut it out. So you can do that. You can add 1.5, or you can add 2 inches to be on the safe side. So after doing that, I've already added my bust measurements. I'll go to the waist. We are cutting this out. So whatever you take here, you're going to return it back. But you can also do it this way. Mark whatever you have here, which is we have 3 inches here. Then you place your tape measurements at this point here. Then you continue your marking. So my measurement is 8.5, and we have 8.5 here. So I'll go ahead and join the 8.5 points. I will extend it to the arm under bust so that it can be perfect. Okay. Then I'll join it to my bust point, because the shape is looking funny, but that is how it's going to be. The reason why the shape is looking funny is because of the dart you took in here. So you are going to cut this out also. Please always remember to add whatever you are cutting out, add it back to it, so that your pattern can be accurate. So this is all for the front. I'll go ahead and cut it out now, then I'll show you how to draft the back. So for the back pattern now, I've already marked my chest line, under bust line. This is my half length. So this is going to serve as my zipper allowance. So I'll go ahead and mark my shoulder measurement. I'll mark my shoulder measurement for that zipper allowance. My shoulder measurement divided by 2. And I'll connect it together like this. After connecting it, I'll mark my neck depth and neck width, which is 4. My neck depth is going to be 1 for the back. Then I'll create my shoulder slope like we did for the front. Then I'll connect it together. After connecting it together, I'm going to be creating my armhole now. So I'll just connect this chest line to this place. We do not need to come in by half an inch, okay? No, for the front we came in by half an inch, but for the back we do not need that. After doing that, I'll create my yoke now. So at this armhole part, I'll come down by 8 inches as we did for the front pattern, and at the center back here, I'll come down by 7 inches as we did for the front pattern. Then I'll connect them together. So after connecting together, I will add my horizontal measurement, my bust and my waist measurement, which is my bust measurement is 9.5, and my waist measurement also is 9.5 with 1 inch allowance for the dart. So normally my waist measurement is 8.5. That is 34 divided by 4. It's going to give us 8.5. So plus 1 inch for that. So that is why I have 9.5. Then I'll go ahead to join my neckline together. So we are done drafting the back measurement. How I will do now is to cut it out. Okay, before I cut it out, I want to show us something. In order to avoid bulginess when you fix your zipper, come at this under bust area, come in by half an inch. Come in by half an inch here, and at the half length also come in by half an inch. Then you connect it all the way up. You connect it back to your chest line. Connect it to the chest line like this. So this half inch, I will return it back to this place. Hope you get what I did there. So that is going to make your zipper as flat as possible by the time you fix it, okay? And if you do not want to do this, you can as well cut the down part by half an inch. That also works fine. So I'll go ahead and cut it out now. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please subscribe and turn on your notification bell so that you can get notified whenever I drop a new tutorial. Please like this video so that YouTube can recommend the video to a lot of people. So I'll go ahead and cut this out on my fabric. Then I will add the necessary allowance. I will add half inch here, half inch here. I will add half inch to this place. To this place also half inch. To this place half. Then I will add my joining allowance, which is between 1.5 to 2 inches. So I'll do the same thing for the front pattern also. This is my front pattern. I'm gonna cut out my front pattern. So I'll do the same thing. I will add half inch here, half inch here. This place is going to be on fold. At the upper part, I will add half inch. At the lower part, I will add half inch. and at the side one here, side C, I will add between 1.5 to 2 inches, and I'll do the same thing for the yoke, and I'll show you what we have. So I'm going to cut out my pattern. This is the back, this is the yoke, and this is my front pattern. As you can see, this is the side front, this is the yoke, and this is the center front. So I also went ahead to cut my foam, the foam I'll be using to pad the bustier. So I want to show you something. Make sure that your foam do not exceed the under bust more than half inch. In fact, if you can cut it on the under bust, is okay, but me, I usually cut it under bust by half inch. And for the side foam also, whatever you are using, if you are using your whatever you are using should not exceed the under bust more than half an inch. Okay, so you can see this is my under bust points, and it is half inch away from the under bust. So for the side seam, you make sure you curve it this way so that you can have a smooth shape at that point when you join it together, and make sure you do not get to the side seam and it did not get to the shoulder point where you are going to add your sleeve also. So my waist measurement is 34 divided by 4. I'll be having 8.5. I'm not adding that to this. So if you want to add that to your own, you can go ahead and add your that allowance. And for my hip measurement is 43, which I have already marked here. So I'll connect this to this point. You can use your straight ruler, you can use your curved ruler, whatever suits you. Okay. So after connecting the waist to the hip, you go ahead and contour the angle line, because you cannot continue with the hip measurement. You have to contour it. So I'll be coming in by 1.5, because I do not want it to be too tight, so that my client can walk freely. And I'll go ahead and connect that 1.5 point to my hip line. I can decide to use my curved ruler, and I can as well decide to use my straight ruler, depending on whatever I want. Okay, so just go ahead and connect like so. So after connecting to your ankle, so whatever you have at your ankle point, that is what you are going to use to continue the length of the dress. Okay, you know that this dress you are making is going to have a net at the down part. So whatever you use here, that is what you are going to use to continue the length of the dress. So I have 9 here. I'll mark this 9 till I get to the hem line of my dress. Okay. I'm done doing that. But for this length I'm working with, I'm working with a very tall person. Her length is 65. So my paper did not get to 65. So by the time I want to cut out my net, I'm going to add the remaining to it. But it's still the same thing, still the same measurement. So I do not need to um join any paper to it. So I'll just add the remaining to it. So let's go back to the upper part, which we need to cut out our net from now. So it depends on where your client wants the net to start from. For me, she wants it to start from almost a knee length. So this is a half length, which is 17.5. So some people can decide to start the net from the angle point. As you can see in the original picture she sent, it started from the angle point here, but for her, she wanted to start from 39. So she wants net to start from 39. So at this 39 point, that is where I'll start my net from. So I'll go ahead and mark my 39. So we are good to go. So I'll go ahead and cut this out now, and I'll use this same pattern to cut out my back pattern. So I want us to know something. For you to manage your pattern, you can just cut out from this point to this point alone, because at the end of the day, the remaining part you want to cut out is still going to carry this measurement. So you just have to measure whatever you have here as the width, which is 9.1. Then you measure the remaining measurement as your length. I'll show you what I'm talking about, because for me now, I'm not going to cut out all this part. I just use this to explain to us. Okay, so I'll just be cutting out from this place to this place. Then by the time I want to cut it out on my net, I'm going to explain to us better. So I'll use this to cut out both the front and the back. So for the back, I'll be adding my zipper allowance, and I'll show us what I'm going to do to that also. I cut out my front pattern. I added my 20 cm, half inch for the upper pattern, half inch for the lower part. So it's time to cut the back piece now. So I'm gonna need to add 1.5 inch allowance for the zipper allowance. So at the hip point here, I'll mark the point, and I'll mark the point at the ankle line. So between this point and this point, I'm going to be reducing it by half an inch to three quarter of an inch. Okay, so I can do 3/4 of an inch. So this is going to make the dress so fitted at that area. So when the person wear it is going to be very fitted. So I'll connect it back to the upper part, and this also I'll connect it back to the lower part. Then I'll cut out. So before I cut out, let me explain all I need to explain on this back pattern. So you can see that I marked this point, which is my zipper allowance. So I'll come down here by half an inch. This is to reduce any form of bulginess around the zipper. Okay, so it's going to reduce any form of bulginess around the zipper. Then I'll connect it back to the main line. You can see that this is the main line. So that is what I'm going to do for the back. So I'll go ahead and cut it now and show you what I have. So I'm done cutting off my back. This is my back piece. And you see, so this piece is going to be shorter than the front piece. Look at it. Okay, so this is my back piece. Now the next thing is to cut out our net. So I'll show you what I'm going to do with this pattern while I want to cut out my net. So after you must have placed it on it like this, you measure whatever you have here, which is 9.1. I have 9.1 here. I just want us to confirm. Can you see? So you add your 2 inches around that you added to the upper part to it. Then you measure whatever you have here, which is 11.1 all the way down. And I have already known that this is what I have. So I'll go ahead and cut this out now. Then all I just do is to slash out this zipper part. We don't need to shape it again. So I'll just slash it out and we are good to go. So our next part is ready. You don't need to even notch it. Okay, you can use any part for both the down the up and the down, but you need to notch it if you have a particular pattern you are following. So you need to notch it if you have a particular pattern you are following. So for me, I'm going to be notching it because I have a pattern I'm following on this particular neck. So I'll notch it to know the upper part and the lower part. But if you do not have any particular pattern you're following, you don't need to notch it. So this is all for the skirt part. So you just go ahead and join it to the skirt, the down parts like this. So you're going to be joining it together like this. Then it will make up for the skirt part. So for the sleeve part, I'm going to mark 16 inches, which is going to serve as goodness. If you do not know how to create a basic sleeve by now, go and check it. I have a video on that on my channel, and I will leave the link in the description box. I will leave the link in the description box so that we can check it out and create our sleeve. Okay, so that's it. This is the straight part of the sleeve. The next thing I'm going to do now is to cut the flared part of the sleeve, and I'll be using the 360-degree flared method to cut the flared parts of the sleeve. Okay, so to cut a 360-degree flared, the first thing we need to know is that we need to derive our measurement, which is your circumference minus 1.5 divided by 6. Your circumference can be anything, but in this case, it is our round sleeve circumference that we'll be working with, minus 1.5 divided by 6. So the circumference of this person is 12 inches minus 1.5 divided by 6. I got 1.75. 1.75. Okay, so that 1.75, I will add the length and the allowance I want to add to it. Okay, so now for this one, I'll be adding 9 inches to it. So the length of my fold now is going to be 10.75. Hope you get what I'm saying. Your circumference minus 1.5 divided by 6, and whatever you get, you add your length and you add your allowance to it. So that will determine your fold. So you fold your fabric into 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is it. This is because we are having 8 here now because I'm cutting the two sleeves together. But if you are cutting one sleeve together, you are going to have two at the down part and two at the upper part. Hope that is clear. And let's check what I have here. I folded it by 11 because I want to approximate it to 11. So I'll fold it by 11. I've already folded it. So I have 11 here, 11 here, 11 here, and 11 here. So the first thing I will do now is to mark this figure that we got, which is 1.75. That is what is going to serve as our circumference in order to cut out the cone. Okay, so 1.75. That is what I'll mark out now. Then I'll connect it together. Then I'll mark my length, which is 9 inches. I'll mark it all round, as you can see me do here. You can as well use this formula if you want to create a peplum for a blouse or whatever you want to create. You want to cut a flare for and you want to use a 360-degree flare, so you can use this formula. The circumference minus 1.5 divided by 6 plus your length of the flare you want to cut, and you add your allowance to it. So by the time you fold your fabric into 4, to get the cone here, this is a cone. Can you see? When it's folded like this, it's going to give you a cone. But when you open it, it's going to give you a circle. To get it, you are going to mark the figure you got from dividing your round circumference. That is what you are going to use to get this place. Hope it is clear. This is half of my flare. This is half. By the time I open it up, it's going to be more wider. Can you see this? So this is where I will be joining to my round sleeve. And now go ahead and cut lining for this also.